Imagine a world where your most sacred symbols are deemed blasphemous. A world where devotion to images is considered idolatry. This was the reality faced by the Byzantine Empire during the Iconoclast Controversy, a tumultuous period that shook the very foundations of Byzantine society. The Iconoclast Controversy, which raged throughout the 8th and 9th centuries AD, was a bitter dispute over the use of religious images, known as icons, in Byzantine Christianity. This wasn't just a theological debate, it was a power struggle that entangled emperors, patriarchs, and the common people in a web of religious and political intrigue. At the heart of the controversy lay a fundamental question: should religious images be venerated as aids to worship, or were they idols that invited God's wrath? This question divided the Byzantine world, pitting iconoclasts, who condemned the use of icons, against Iconodules, who fiercely defended their veneration. The Iconoclast controversy was a defining moment in Byzantine history. It not only reshaped religious practices, but also had profound implications for the relationship between church and state, the role of the emperor, and the very fabric of Byzantine society. To understand the ferocity of the Iconoclast controversy, we must first step back into the vibrant world of Byzantium. In the bustling cities and tranquil monasteries of the Byzantine Empire, icons were ubiquitous. They adorned the walls of churches, homes, and even public spaces. These weren't just decorative pieces, they were windows into the divine, bridges between the earthly and the heavenly realms. For the faithful, icons served as powerful reminders of Christ, the Virgin Mary, and the saints. They inspired prayer, offered comfort, and provided a tangible connection to the sacred. The veneration of icons was deeply ingrained in Byzantine piety. People would light candles before them, kiss their surfaces, and kneel in prayer. Icons were believed to possess miraculous powers, capable of healing the sick, protecting against harm, and even interceding with God on behalf of the faithful. However, beneath this widespread veneration, a current of unease was beginning to stir. Some questioned the propriety of depicting the divine in physical form, fearing that it bordered on idolatry. These concerns, initially confined to the fringes of Byzantine society, would soon erupt into a full-blown crisis. The Iconoclast controversy split Byzantine society into two camps, the Iconoclasts and the Iconodules. Iconoclasts, or image breakers, saw icons as idolatry, violating the Ten Commandments. Emperors like Leo III led this movement, aiming to purify the faith. Iconodules, on the other hand, venerated icons as aids to worship. They argued that icons were visual reminders of the saints and salvation history. The Incarnation justified depicting the divine in art. Iconodules, supported by monks and theologians, defended their traditions with zeal. The year 726 AD marked a turning point in the Iconoclast controversy. It was then that Emperor Leo III, facing a series of military setbacks and seeking to unify his empire, issued an edict condemning the veneration of icons. This act ignited a firestorm that would engulf Byzantium for over a century. Leo's edict declared that the use of religious images was idolatrous, and ordered their removal from all places of worship. Churches were stripped bare, icons were destroyed, and those who dared to oppose the emperor's will faced persecution. The edict sent shockwaves through the Byzantine world. For many, it was an attack on their deeply held beliefs, an attempt to erase the visual language of their faith. Resistance, particularly from monks who played a vital role in preserving and promoting icon veneration, was swift and fierce. Leo's motivations for launching iconoclasm are complex and debated. Some historians argue that he was genuinely concerned about idolatry and hoped to reform the church. Others suggest that he saw iconoclasm as a way to weaken the power of the monasteries, which had grown wealthy and influential, or to garner support from iconoclast factions in the East. Whatever his motives, Leo's edict unleashed a period of religious and political turmoil that would leave an indelible mark on the Byzantine Empire. Section 5. The Reign of Leo III. Iconoclasm Enforced. The reign of Leo III from 717 to 741 AD witnessed the first wave of iconoclasm, a period marked by the forceful implementation of the emperor's edict and the growing resistance to it. Leo III, a shrewd and ambitious ruler, was determined to enforce his iconoclastic policies. He replaced resistant patriarchs with those sympathetic to his views and used the machinery of state to suppress opposition. Monasteries, seen as hotbeds of icon veneration, were targeted, their wealth confiscated and their inhabitants persecuted. One of the most outspoken critics of iconoclasm was John of Damascus, a Syrian monk and theologian. Writing from the safety of the Umayyad Caliphate, John penned a series of treatises defending the use of icons and condemning the emperor's actions. His writings would become a cornerstone of Iconodule theology. Despite the persecution, resistance to iconoclasm continued to simmer, particularly among the populace who clung to their beloved icons. The veneration of images was so deeply ingrained in Byzantine piety that simply banning them proved to be a formidable task. Leo III's reign ended in 741 AD, but the controversy he ignited was far from over. His successor, Constantine V, would inherit not only the throne, but also the thorny legacy of iconoclasm. Section 6. Resistance and Revolt, the Price of Defiance. The iconoclastic policies of Leo III and his successors were met with steadfast resistance, particularly from monks and ordinary Christians who viewed icons as integral to their faith. This resistance often took the form of peaceful protests, theological debates, and clandestine preservation of icons. However, as the persecution intensified, so too did the opposition. In some parts of the empire, resistance escalated into open revolt. One such uprising occurred in 741 AD in Greece, where a rebellion sparked by the destruction of icons threatened to topple the Byzantine government. The rebellion was brutally suppressed, but it highlighted the depth of popular opposition to iconoclasm and the risks it posed to the empire's stability. The event served as a stark reminder that religious policies, particularly those seen as an attack on the faith of the people, could have explosive political consequences. Section 7. The Second Iconoclasm, a new chapter of conflict. After a brief period of respite under Empress Irene, who restored the veneration of icons in 787 AD, the Iconoclast Controversy reignited in the early 9th century. This second wave of iconoclasm, lasting from 813 to 842 AD, was led by Emperor Leo V and continued by his successors. The reasons behind the second outbreak of iconoclasm were similar to those of the first, a combination of religious zeal, political expediency, and perhaps even a desire to curb the growing influence of monasteries. Once again, icons were banned, churches were purged, and those who defied the emperor's edict faced persecution. The second iconoclasm was marked by renewed theological debates, forced conversions, and the destruction of countless religious images. However, despite the renewed persecution, the Iconodule movement had gained momentum. The writings of John of Damascus and other Iconodule theologians had solidified the theological arguments in favor of icons, and popular support for their veneration remained strong. Section 8. The Triumph of Images, a lasting victory. The year 843 AD marked a turning point in the Iconoclast Controversy. Following the death of the Iconoclast Emperor Theophilos, his widow, Empress Theodora, who had secretly remained an Iconodule, seized the opportunity to restore the veneration of icons. With the support of the Patriarch Methodios I, Theodora convened a church council in Constantinople. This council, known as the Council of 843, condemned iconoclasm, reaffirmed the decisions of the Second Council of Nicaea in 787 AD, and officially restored the veneration of icons in the Byzantine Empire. The restoration of icons was celebrated with great joy throughout the Byzantine world. It was seen as a triumph of orthodoxy, a victory for the true faith. The date of the council's decision, March 11th, became a major religious holiday in the Eastern Orthodox Church, known as the Triumph of Orthodoxy. The victory of the Iconodules marked the end of the Iconoclast Controversy. While debates over the nature and role of icons continued in theological circles, the veneration of images was firmly re-established as an integral part of Byzantine piety. Section 9. A Legacy of Debate, the Enduring Impact. The Iconoclast Controversy, though concluded in the 9th century, left a lasting legacy on the Byzantine Empire and beyond. It had profound implications for the relationship between church and state, the development of Christian theology, and Byzantine society. The controversy highlighted the complex interplay between religion and politics in Byzantium. It demonstrated the emperor's power to influence religious matters, but also the limits of that power. Emperors who went too far faced resistance and instability. Theologically, it forced a deeper reflection on the nature of Christ, the role of images in worship, and the relationship between the material and the spiritual. The arguments developed continue to shape Orthodox Christian understanding of icons today. The controversy also left its mark on Byzantine art. Following the triumph of icons, there was a flourishing of religious art, particularly icon painting. Byzantine icons, with their distinctive style and theological symbolism, became highly influential, spreading throughout the Christian world. The Iconoclast Controversy stands as a testament to the power of images, the enduring human need for visual expressions of faith, and the complexities of navigating the intersection of religion and politics. It remains a fascinating and relevant chapter in the history of Christianity, offering valuable insights into the enduring power of belief and the enduring challenges of interpreting and defining faith.